Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Movie Club, where today we will be talking about Furiosa, a Mad Max saga.
Furiosa. Furiosa. Furiosa.
Furiosa.
Furiosa. So yeah, we're here to talk about who. Okay, so I'm trying to think legitimately. Is George Miller the oldest director that we have like talked about?
No,
Is Scorsese the older?
I believe so.
Okay. I mean, look at actor. I don't mean look back to old film ops. See what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the fifth Mad Max film. It's his first one that is a prequel of sorts, right? Because this takes place before.
It's
Fury
the
Road.
only one that is not a sequel. Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of interesting, and then it's also the only one that, at least independent of the arguments online of the amount of Mad Max action feature, this is the only one where Mad Max is objectively not even a main character, and so that all is kind of the differences there. Immediately, I want to say I like the film. I think it's very, very cool. I think there's some cool shots. I think that obviously that giant rig fight, I think, is going to be something that people really point to something really cool. I also want to say, though, I think this film looks worse in shots, in at least some sections, than Fury Road did. I think especially when then this film does the whole, we get to the end and we just show Fury Road. It's like, oh, side by side, you should not have shown the like what I think looks better in those shots.
Yeah, the weird thing is, like, I will say though, when they were going back to the Fury Road clips, there were very clearly ones that it's like, oh, this was shot on a GoPro because they needed to kill this camera. And you can see a lot of lack of detail. Whereas in Furiosa, where it was a little more CG-ified at times, and they didn't have to worry about killing a camera, they could shoot it in, full picture depth and keep a lot of that detail. But yeah, I mean, I think
what was your kind of take on it?
What's that?
I was going to say, yeah. So what was your kind of your kind of thoughts kind of as we were going through this too?
I mean, I didn't have an issue with the look because that is George Miller. Like, I was glad they used as much color as they did. And I think that's probably part of why people think Fury Road looks so good, is it's a lot of contrast because he wanted to shoot it in black and white. Whereas Furiosa has a lot more, the contrast is still there, but instead of it being orange and blue or orange and black, there's more just straight up color. We see why they use the red smoke indicators. We see the fact that the war rig was chrome originally, which is really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Obviously they kill it, so they need to make a new one, but I think I was fine with a lot of this movie until there was a very specific point where I was like, why did they put that in? And it had nothing to do with the end. It had nothing to do with the love story. It had nothing to do with that. Why did they have Max deliver Furiosa to the Citadel? Right? Like, kind of the whole point of Fury Road is...
It's their first time.
Yeah, you don't know that... Max doesn't know that the driver of the war rig is a woman. But that can't be the case if he rescued her and delivered her to the Citadel.
Unless everyone in this world is just blind to faces, because how Chris Hemsworth, as Dementus we'll get to, did not recognize Anna Taylor-Joy, I think is pretty impressive. Like when she's in the car, I'm like, I feel like this is someone you would definitely remember.
She's in the car.
It's when he's like right before when he helps them out of Gastown, right when like he gets betrayed by the rest of them. Toward the back third of the film.
Yeah. Where she's the one delivering.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could see the rationale being she had shaved her head, right? And he only knew her as having long hair.
Right.
I'm not saying that's a valid reason. But yeah, I mean, it's like, too, I mean, the whole will they, won't they of where it's like, Rictus clearly knows that Furiosa is who he's looking at.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't put his finger on it for whatever reason. It's just like, you know, it's one of those where you're just like, I'm not
thinking about this too hard.
I'm not a huge fan of. I get why that storyline exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of that storyline. Just, I think it's kind of a stupid storyline because it's part of Fury Road as well, right? Where Rictus wants another brother, and that whole thing, and you're just like, dude, like, I get it, but also,
so question.
Yeah.
The whole he wants another brother thing,
which is from Fury Road. Yeah.
Right, no, I get that, but like, is it not weird how this was not like how there's a so to begin with, there's an extra brother in this movie, but then there's a different extra brother because isn't the youngest like his youngest like isn't the baby like technically his brother? Who's the baby in Fury Road?
Well, it's not a baby; it's a full-grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is like. I think that's an interesting decision that I'm a little confused by too.
I was surprised unless the actor that played the dude and this small person, unless they died and they didn't want to recast it or something, but.
It just feels like one of those where if you watch the screen picture that I'm a little confused by what happened to Brother A and Brother C. In both ends.
Quentin
I guess that would be kind of...
He died in 2018, so that would be why he's not in this anymore, but I feel like you could have done something. And maybe that was the way around it, right? Maybe it was just like, hey, we're going to bring Scrotus in as the other brother because the guy that played the other brother is dead, so we can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that was a way to respect it while also, continuing to have the two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But doing it in a respectful way.
And I'm not saying there isn't ways. It just feels like a weird because, like, literally this film ends where the others begin, so it's kind of just weird one-to-one of, like, I feel like they should have the same, especially where they kind of made a point of the supporting characters. Also, were you someone who was also surprised by the amount we got in Mortem Joe in this versus kind of it being just Dementus as the villain?
I mean, the funny thing is, right, like Immortan. There, I was like, I'm saying it wrong. Immortan Joe is he's not a bad guy, right? At least in this movie. Fury Road, he's starting to lose control, so he's desperate. But in this movie, I think the problem also is the way that they play with time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because supposedly Furiosa takes place like 45 years after the bombs drop. So Furiosa is a post-war baby. But all the other people are, I mean, Dementis is, if he's not post-war, he's,
Right on the edge.
right on the edge of the war. I mean, if he's not pre-war, he's definitely pretty close. And Morton Joe is clearly like all of the leaders of the strongholds are clearly pre-war people, along with the history man and that. But it's just like, okay, so Dementis is what, 35, maybe 40
So he's like born into the crazy, I guess we'll call it. Or born
when
into the collapsing.
when we first meet him, when Furiosa is a younger girl. But then the movie ends with Furiosa as, it's probably 5 years before Fury Road. Right. So she's 19, 20 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah, that's a.
So, I mean.
So she was 8 when the movie started?
I would say she was probably 10 or 11.
I thought they said. That's what I thought. I thought it actually got 8 from somebody, so I can find it.
I'm considering at the beginning being when she gets taken.
That's what I mean.
So. Also, yeah. I find it very odd. I find it very odd that Praetorian Jack, like the characters that they had to bring in, obviously they had to kill because they can't carry them over. But Praetorian Jack seems like he would have left a lasting impression on Furiosa. Clearly, like they had the beginnings of a love story going on. So it makes the reaction of Furiosa when she sees Max even stranger. Right? There's a lot of things in Fury Road that this
kind of questions more.
Yeah, it raises a lot of questions.
Especially because legitimately with that one, especially like to be honest, he was this film's Max. So like, you think she'd react to Max fundamentally different, like seeing a guy she could trust? Because like that's part of Fury Road's argument is it seems like she's never found someone to trust before.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing, right? Like, since Fury Road, obviously it's only been 2 movies. Max has not been the lead character, right? He wasn't the lead in Fury Road. It was Furiosa. So these are 2 Furiosa movies, basically back to back. Why then, as you say, does it feel like if she had this love interest in Praetorian Jack, I feel like they could have handled it a little bit better when making Fury Road of getting across that she had someone that she lost,
Hmm.
rather than she can't trust any man, which makes sense if it's only her being taken, right? If it's her being taken from her civilization by men, and then she's treated like shit by men, it makes sense in Fury Road when she wants to kill Max.
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't make sense now with Furiosa is why she's having the reaction that she does when she sees Max.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Like that's actually a
Especially
very
since
good
Max
like.
saved her life. Obviously, she probably doesn't know that it was Max that saved her, but Max saved her life.
Hmm.
So,
So we haven't touched on yet. What is your kind of takes on Dementus, on Chris Hemsworth's villain? Because to me, I mean, I like him. I think also it's very hard to not look at that and see skinny Thor.
yeah. I think more Dementus to me was they needed they needed a way out or towards, however you want to look at it, the leaders of the strongholds and why they had the power that they did. Right? Because if it was just, let's assume Fury Road is 65 to 70 years after the bombs
Mm-hmm.
fell. In that case, you know, the leaders of the strongholds would be getting towards the end of their reign and they would be desperate, and that makes sense. Right? They're trying to hold on to what they have. So I think as a way to put in place why they would want to keep that power, right? Showing what happens when they lose that power, I think is interesting and is a good way to go. Am I a fan of Chris Hemsworth as? I mean, he's probably the only guy that should be in that role.
I also I like. Do you see him talk about the whole? He goes. I remember hearing the line growing up. America has Star Wars, Britain has Harry Potter, and we have Mad Max for Australia.
Yeah. Which, yeah, they do. It's been a proudly Australian franchise
Mm-hmm.
from the start. Um, so there's definitely things that I don't know, like Dementis being this leader that doesn't know how to control power, I think is a good villain to have in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he gets challenged by oh, is it actually Austin Butler? The guy in the black
The Octus or whatever his name is.
with yeah, the goat horns.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I really like how they don't introduce that guy. They just like kind of say a name, and you see the guy, and you go, "Yep, this is the guy they were talking about for sure." That was such a good. I'm pulling up his name. I was talking.
Goron Day
It's,
Clout. Goron D Clout, I should say. He was in Hacksaw Ridge, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Alien Covenant. He was the xenomorph in Alien Covenant.
mm,
What else? He was Anubis in Gods of Egypt. He was in L.A. Noire as a voice. Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, Octobos was a really cool character, and I wish they would have. I wish there was a sequel to Fury Road that they were working on, so
the
that
state of kind of
we could take what happened with Fury Road and Furiosa and go, hey, it's now Max's story again, right? Like making a Mad Max movie with Max as the lead character would be great, because that's what made at least the first two original ones fun. But
do you know? But I was gonna say, I'm trying to think what else is there. But yeah. So again, I say with this is a fun thing. Also, what did you see it in? We saw it in what we saw it in like the whatever the IMAX Dolby format is right now. I can pull it up.
Oh, I just saw it in Dolby.
Okay. We saw it in. I always love when everyone has like their subtle different titled version name of it. Yeah, it's Dolby. It was the Super Scream DXL with Dolby Atmos, so it's Dolby basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this was the first time that I've been in a movie where they were playing actual commercials during trailer time.
As in,
like car commercials were playing in between trailers.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, I've not had that before. Not a big fan. I just want to point out this is trailer time. We all understand there's advertisements before the trailers, not during.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd point out the obvious there. But yeah, this is Furiosa. I would say go check it out. It's a fun time. Again, I do think Fury Road is better, but Furiosa is definitely a very fun time. I had a lot of cool characters. I think can we both agree George Miller is one of the best, if not the best, at making outrageous just side characters that like we all want them to explain more and he just never will. Like compare him to like any other thing like that. It's like, oh, if he makes people, you just know they're going to be some level of very fun to be like, who the hell is that?
Yeah. Yeah, he does a pretty good job of that, but I think the struggle is he had the first 3 Mad Max movies. And then a very long break before Fury Road.
Yep.
And I think everyone wanted a sequel to Fury Road. But the studios were like, hey, why don't you do a Furiosa prequel? So he's like, well, if the studio is going to make me do a prequel, I'm going to have fun with putting ridiculous characters in it.
I think there's some... we haven't even talked about... what was the weapon called in the back? That the entire time we'd be like, what does this do?
Oh, yes.
Dobby Knocker? The Dobby Knocker.
Yeah, Dobby Knocker.
That was one. Why I give it the way they teased that for like a solid bit there, which is just waiting and waiting. You're like, what is it?
Well, and I just love that. I was fully expecting it to never work. Right? They try it and it just doesn't work.
I was expecting the same thing.
So when she goes, Dobby Knocker now, and the dude's dead, and you're like, okay, that's an interesting way to do it. To kind of have that raise the tension of will it work or not. But it's dumb as hell. I'll tell you that. That was awesome.
It was awesome. Also, the way that like it just like smashes them is intense. Also, before we wrap this, I want to shout out the like actual end, because like where it actually was just like, well, what do these things possibly happened? I thought it was a fun way to kind of wrap the film, but kind of keep it as a sense of mystery of like, hey, we know he's dead, we know he killed her, kind of. We're in the middle of the goddamn wasteland. Many things can happen. I kind of enjoy that versus like the like that amount of like, and now we know this is where he ended, especially in the way these stories are kind of told.
Yeah, knowing that, kind of these stories would be told by these history men. Which, God, what was the opening line? It was such a good. Opening line. As the world falls around us, how must we brave its cruelties?
That's so good.
And I'm like, if I ever got a movie quote as a tattoo, it'd probably be that. Because that's badass. That quote is awesome. That goes hard.
100%. That's a great like again, the world it's this is all wrapped in, I think, is partially what makes this film so interesting, because you just kind of want to see what's going to happen around it. So, but yeah, that is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which I wanted to shout out before we kind of close this here too. Just people go to the movies. People who didn't know, Memorial Day weekend this last weekend in the U.S. was the worst Memorial Day weekend since like the 90s. And do we think there is a world in hell where this film makes any level of money, even minusing messed up Hollywood accounting?
Unfortunately, I don't think so.
Do you think we'll get another one? Because this would be the first Mad Max film to lose money, if that's true.
I think it's losing money.
Really?
Yeah.
We will, I guess, find out kind of as this keeps going. Hopefully we get another one of these. But yeah, that's a little, because especially I feel like we're going to get, obviously it's harder and harder to get funding now than it was too. So once you start losing funding, I'll be curious at what point does Warner start tightening their pocketbooks, we'll say.
Yeah.
But we will see. But yeah, this is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Go see it. Go in your theaters. It's a good time. There are problems with the film. It's not perfect, but again, great time. Worst case, get a big bucket of popcorn, and you get to see a bunch of people get killed or near killed for like 2.5 hours. So, anything else you have to say to the people about checking this out?
I gotta say, like, the kind of crazy thing about especially the Fury Road movie and now this, the work that these guys put in to make these cars,
Jesus Christ, out of nothing,
is insane.
Like, that's actually insane, the amount of out of nothing that these things are. Because like when you go to the chop shop, I don't think I really realized how that would be, how like insane that would be comparatively. Where like you see this stuff and you go like, how does any of this actually function?
Well, and not only that, like, think about them like, they had to make real versions of these cars, a lot of them. So they had to actually pull the bodies off of 250 Chevys and mold them together for Immortan Joe's vehicle. Right, there is some like just crazy ass shit that they had to do to make the cars. And if nothing else, just the dumbness of it, of seeing these ridiculous creations, is hilarious. Like the line when Praetorian Joe has got, or the other Praetorian is driving with the war boy in front, And he goes, "You think this is something? Hit the second engine." And it's like, he says it so seriously because there are two engines on this giant war rig. But it's just one of those lines where you're like, dude, this is so dumb, but it's so fun.
That's good. I also want to shout out the other fun moment that I was just thinking about is the whole when Dementus goes to the Citadel or goes the first time, and it literally is him having to him like, and it's Joe going to like pick one of them. Pick one of my guys, and you think it's gonna be like a face off? No, shit. He picks one and blasts himself spray paint in their faces, and just fucking suicides himself to kill a bunch of them. Like, that's such a good way to introduce kind of like a set of enemies too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was beautiful. But yeah, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. Go check it out in your local cinema, and we'll be back next time with some nonsense. SW coming up. We got some interviews. We got some streamed. We as you'll see, there's another week or two left of us streaming for the D-Day. And yeah, streaming the hell let loose. I think that's it. We're gonna let AJ go now. I think he needs dinner in him or soonish. Yeah, maybe a little bit longer. But either way, we'll catch all of you next time.
The SW Show and all of its affiliate podcasts are podcast by me, Mike Maroney, and AJ Losi, sometimes by our contributors, including Corey King. You can follow the SWW Show on social media at the SWW Show, or sooner or later you go to patreon.com/SWW to help us out. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.